It's game time! It's the Game Time Game Console 501 from our friends from China. It's also called the Game Console A11 with 500 built-in games, and they have some pretty damn cool, let's say, figures on this thing, and I'm guessing all of the figures more like mascots on these things. And I got myself the cute panda. Yeah, nevertheless, I just wanted to check it out, what kind of version we're having and what can we expect from a device like this. I've read all kinds of different versions, but there's always a gamble. So they do sell this with a controller. I didn't have it because it's also like a little bit of a problem with these devices nowadays getting... Oh, I didn't get it. Oh, cool. I got myself the blue. Oh, I was thinking I was getting the purple. Or the pink one. But okay, doesn't matter. The thing is, I really love the way how this thing just actually looks. I'm just going to be honest, that's the reason why I pick it up. With the very cute airs and more like this very nice, cool, devilish kind of a style. It comes in a 3.5-inch display. Most of the time with these cheap devices, it's not like a very nice IPS panel. On and off switch over here. At the top, we do have a Type-C connection, but this doesn't have... Oh man, I got myself a dirty fingernail. Oh, let's clean it first, by the way. Alright, so that's much better. So next up, we're going to have the Type-C and the normal USB. The normal USB or the mini USB was basically for the controller that I didn't get. We have a jack out over here, and the jack out is for, yep, over here, the AV out cable. I'm going to show you later on. Volume control with a physical button, and that's actually it. We can remove the back part, but we'll do that later on in the teardown. Let's remove this. And the front glass is made out of very thin. You can even hear it. This is going to be scratch sensitive like crazy. And if you're going to bump it too hard, it's going to be destroying your display. But that's actually what we're having inside the device. This thing is very lightweighted. But let's take a close look inside the box itself. In here we're going to find the old school AV out. This thing doesn't have an HDMI out. And of course a toilet paper user manual. Doesn't say a lot. Just some quick explanation or problems. For example, if you have a problem with connecting with the AV out. And then, of course, we're having in here the Type-C cable. That's it. Well, let's power it on and let's plug it into the television. Oh yeah, there we go again. So if you know what kind of song this is, let me know in the comments. Which game? The volume control seems to be working quite well. Where I was having some weird things going on with previous models. It sounds still very crisp and clear when you're going to be maximizing. But the thing is, you cannot, like, let's say, get this carousel of volume control. I mean, when you're going to be in the maximum volume, your maximum volume. Normally, when you're pressing it another time go up, it will go down. Basically, going back to station number 1. It's kind of weird to explain in my opinion. But so that is one of the things they absolutely improved. The speaker is absolutely sounding great. It's front facing, so that's great. And the display, let's give it a quick zoom. It's not an IPS panel, but it does look quite nice for a very cheap device. But how about the game list? So I'm already here on around 300, and I can say that a lot of double games on this, only under a different name. I have seen Excitebike a couple of times. So how many games will be on here? Yeah, I think it will be in a couple of them, like maybe 50. If you're lucky, 100 different games. But that's the thing they're always doing with these cheaper devices. The multi-game cars from back in the 90s. But we will take a close look at a couple of these games. How is the overall, let's say, emulation. And not to forget, how is the D-pad working. Because the D-pad is quite huge. The feedback itself of the D-pad is not bad at all. It does have a very strange resistance. With a very nice travel. The same goes for the ABXY. The weird thing is that the AB has been put in here. So it has been the other way around. I'm almost used to getting the A here and the B there. Or AB, A there, and then the turbo buttons. But they changed it out. And pressing the home button, that's the most annoying thing. It will reset the volume control. Or the volume, loudness, and also the freaking menu. Where we're having the Chinese and English text. Every single time you need to choose your freaking language. Well, let's get into some gameplays. And let's start with Contra the first time, simply because I'm going to show you how actually the D-pad will work. So, the overall emulation is pretty good. We do miss some details, and that's what I've seen with a lot of these devices. But, oh man, I love the turbo button. There we go. So actually that's kind of interesting. If you want to play with turbo buttons all the time, they have placed it at the bottom part. But another thing I really love about this thing, that the directional part of the D-pad works pretty damn great. Next up, let's try the game called Street Fighter 2010. Yeah, I think it was 2010, it's kind of weird. It's not Street Fighter that you think it is, it's more like a shooting adventure game. But the overall emulation is pretty good. Such a weird game. I'm playing more and more on this device. It feels like the contrast is not like it's supposed to be. It's completely like over the top contrast where all of the details of the display is disappearing. Where all the sound effects right here. That is also a freaking miracle. With a cheaper device back in the day we had so many issues. I don't need to forget that I'm pressing the freaking turbo buttons all the time. So another game I wanted to check out is Duel of the Screen Tearing, if this is going to be absolutely extreme. But so far I can see, besides the detail problem, the turbo function seems to be working fine. I don't see a lot of screen tearing going on. So that seems to be working great. Okay, so one of those like wicked games are on here are the Mortal Kombat clones. I also have these things on cartridges nowadays. It's kind of cool to be honest. They can just have these weird home games. It makes no sense whatsoever on 8-bit. Where we're choosing, for example, Sub-Zero and you're getting a Shokan. It makes absolutely no sense. I do wonder if people are really playing this. But it is a great test to see how the directionals work when it comes to fighting games. And I can tell you, it's absolutely like passing the test. This is a particular game I've never played a lot. It's absolutely classic, the Burger King. Would be cool to have one of those, like the arcade one-up machines. Never had those here. It's kind of a bummer in my opinion. Oh yeah, and did squash them. Did squash them great. So one of my favorite games is Spartan X. I've played this game so much as a child. It's so much fun. And by the way, the turbo function on this thing is absolutely amazing. I have seen a lot of these devices, but this is like really turbo function. Also the different, let's say, positions for the D-pad are absolutely perfect. Yep, I was just jumping into his knife. But this is absolutely a fun way and also a cheesy way because this thing can kick so fast now. Come on, let's go to the final boss. This needs to be like easy mode. Come on, there we go. I think we're going to meet a freaking knife guy soon. There we go, 3 guys. Woo! Come on. Where's the boss? There we go. Let's see. Fight! When it comes to TVL function, I always have a mixed feeling. Simply because when you're looking at it, it's already glitching out. So it's quite difficult to get the plugin. The plugin is just having some issues. It's a little bit crooked, but there we go. Whoa, that looks completely messed up. Let's reset it. Okay, there we go. But also the signal output on this is not the best in my opinion. But we can actually play on the TV. That's kind of cool to be honest. A lot of these homebrew devices I've picked up in my local shops don't even have the TV out function. Spider-Man fly here. Go away fly. But getting the point, of course, it's a lot of fun playing on your television. I think the best will look on a CRT. Okay, so next up, let's take a close look in the inside. How can we replace the battery? With previous models, we can just swap them out with the BL5C ones. But I can already tell you, this is going to be quite disappointing because there is no swappable battery. Yeah, you can swap it, but you need to resolder it. And look at how tiny this is. How much will it be? Like 1500 milliamp? Not a lot. It will give you a couple of hours of play time. But I find it a little bit of a bummer. You can just like switch it out. They can make something modular. And this is absolutely a no-go in my opinion. There is no screws in the inside anymore, so we can just lift this out. It's also a very strange construction. And here we're finding the membranes. We're losing the very cheap translucent one. The display can be replaced. So far I can see it as including a frame, so they'll fit perfectly. And in here we're finding all of the things that we've seen before. The all famous black blob over here. And the chip, but everything have been, like say, scrubbed away. The construction of this device, okay, so the ZYDO2 version 1.2. There's no construction, I'm guessing one, I think this is the way when it made it. This is 080122, so this thing is already quite old in my opinion. But in a very interesting construction. So, but in the end, when you're looking at this particular product, it's not easy to open it up. You need to have a prior tool at least and finding an opening. So if you need to have some maintenance for the battery, it's absolutely a big minus point. Where some of the devices I've reviewed are like super easy. They come with an BL5C Nokia battery. You can just swap it out, buy another one from AliExpress for not a lot of money. So it's absolutely a little bit of a bummer why they stepped away from this. Oh, there's already a screw in there. Nevertheless, I want to thank you all for watching. Let me know in the comments, what do you think of a device like this? Would you consider picking it up? It can be a fun gift. That's the same with the products that you can buy in your local shops. This thing does have TV out, so that's pretty damn cool in my opinion. So let's put this thing back together. If you're wondering, it still works. There we go. Didn't destroy it. And yep, that happened. I'm going to put a couple of screws in later on. Thank you all for watching. It would be great if you subscribe, hit the little bell, and I will see you in the next video.